This is the third time Dial has hit this freaking Rambolina. This is the third time. What is happening? What's going on, chat? Welcome back. It is stream number 2 on the day. As before, got a new audio setup. We'll see how this works out. We did have, in fact, the finals, the top 8 for Fright Night number 10, and we do have a champion. Not going to spoil whether it's new or not, because we did have some repeat champions showing up once again. You're going to have to check that video out for yourself. Definitely a lot of fun games showcasing the new maps, some of the new Phobies, and some very exciting strategies. But speaking of exciting strategies, we're going to take a look at some viewer games and see what they've been doing since the Halloween patch. Now, before we jump into everything, of course, I have to let everybody know at the top that I am part of the content affiliate program. So that means that the Phobies team does, in fact, give me in-game coffee for producing Phobies content. Gotta let everybody know as we get started, but let's get into those games. What's going on, chat? How's everybody doing out there? I will say that the pop guard here and stuff does obstruct so much of my desk. Like, I'm used to looking at my makeshift Elgato. It's not really an Elgato. It's literally just an external keypad. I'm going to have to rearrange, like, everything on my desk, because normally I have a lot of stuff on one side, then I have other stuff on the other, but it's screwing me up. Screwing me up. But we'll see. My absolute whining aside, we're going to jump into some games. We do have a more healthy quantity in the queue than we have had for the last couple weeks thanks to the patches, so we're going to jump in and immediately see what we can get into, what nonsense we can get in. Alright, so we're starting the night off actually with a loss. Potenzia 2 here. Shout out to Potenzia. Made that top 8 berth in Fright Night number 10. Again, no spoilers. But the notes here are actually my first loss with Brony so far. Probably shouldn't have played it into a bunch of 2-movers and a 3-mover. I mean, I think Brony's fine into that, depending on what the formation is. Now, I'm going to jump out and say you're going second here on Phasmophobia. And that has been an unenviable starting position, to be perfectly honest. People don't like seeing that map going second. People don't like seeing that map going second, so we'll see what you've got in store. Bad guy with a somewhat abnormal opener. They did not open with their own snowball, which means it allows our hero to get out to a much more explosive start, capping the center point, and of course, getting some follow-up here. Now, Bad Guy did supplement with Daisy. They have a turret going, which is, I guess that's fine. I don't know if I'm sold on this. That is a really aggressive Bowmangles. Backed up with a Hematic Jin Sting. Interestingly enough, Bad Guy chose not to put the Hematic here. I don't really get that. Like, why? Our hero plops out their own Daisy. I feel like you could have killed this, right? Game, come on. Alright, so we got 470, plus we'll round it up to 6, so that's 1,070, we'll say, plus 1,500. You could have killed this. Maybe they kill your Daisy on the retaliation, and that's the concern. But I think you kill this and then maybe trade Daisies. I don't think they can get Daisy and Jin Sting. But that may have been a missed opportunity there. However, regardless, we end up with even panic points. Just rearranging my desk here, chat. This is driving me insane. I gotta find a better setup here. Not happy with it. Klepto coming in. Bad guys banking to 6. Kind of bunching up here. Seemingly no interest in capping this top point, which means that bad guy... Nah, they're not really safe, because these two plus something coming out of spawn could hypothetically kill this Jin Sting, so it can't get it cleanly, but that is a relatively clean takedown there on... Wait, really? This doesn't seem beneficial to bad guy, like, at all. Radiator. I don't know about that one. Alright, so I think you can kill Daisy and Cat here. Now, there is the potential that bad guy, like, runs in Jin Sting? This feels like you're getting a pretty good exchange. I don't like the... Okay, you're getting a heal here. I was going to say, I don't like the Klepto. There's an argument to run the Snowball all the way to the spa. Because it'll have time to engage with... Like, it can come right out and then fireball something if they come in here. Mr. Tramples. Really? Don't know about that one. Getting the pot shot here on the Cat. 3-1, 4-1 panic point advantage. Bad guy's backing off now. Radiator's going to have to choke back that anger and calm down there, pal. Powering down. Unfortunately, you don't have a great way to push out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 phobies, so you can supplement your team 15 keys to 10. It's just a very awkward position at this stage, and that Radiator may actually get to push in fairly well. Because it should be powering up next turn. Maybe the turn after. I love how it just, like, creeps across the board. There it is. That is, in fact, the Brony. I don't hate the Brony here. Like, obviously, we know it doesn't work out, but I feel like the Brony is probably okay. Unfortunately, this Jin Sting is not okay. What is dead here? I don't know what this Mr. Tramples was doing. Pterodactyl with 3 keys left. 8 keys for our hero here. Honestly, this looks like a great Brony. We'll see where our hero positions it. That's not where I would have done it. Okay, so I don't like this Brony position. Foul. Well, this is cute, though. This is cute. This is kind of cute. Early contender for the thumbnail here. It is cute. But I think you would have been better off here. So, like, get your attacks in, right? Then you come down here. Then you turn off Jin Sting, Tramples, other Jin Sting, Bow Mangles, and Radiator. You only would get, because you'd be here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3. Like, these have to move. But I think that, you know, you get your pot shots. That allows you to then reclaim the board. No, you don't turn off these two. But Stabby's going to take forever to get in and engage. Like, the Brony effect will be over by the time Stabby's in here. Yep, this is the first game of the night, DT. Either way, we end up going with this push instead. Not push, but this counterattack. And you do take down the Jin Sting. This does allow the cassowary to sneak in here. Like, I don't hate this sequence. I don't I don't know that I like it, but I don't hate it. It turns off an enormous amount of their offense for a decent amount of time. You're obviously going to get the Jin Sting. They're out of keys. You can soften this up. This actually doesn't look real bad for you. I don't know about this. I guess it's fine. So the big risk here is that you are lacking in offense to a degree. I don't like the snowball going up there. So I don't like the snowball going up there because Clinico could just claim that. And then Snowball, yeah, Snowball has a longer range, but you want it to be able to hit what you want it to be able to hit when you want it to hit. This Cassowary ends up just dying. The attack on Mr. Tramples here didn't seem very valuable. Bottom line is, I don't think the issue here was Brony, based on what I'm seeing thus far. I think you needed to capitalize a little bit more on the Brony. You needed at least one more Phobie kill. Also, this foul is just strange. Like, I don't know about this foul. I don't know what Clinico is doing over here either. If nothing else, the Clinico should be back here for damage. Granted, it's not going to do a whole lot, but every little bit counts if you want to take something down. You're going to get blown out by this Radiator, aren't you? No, it's not juiced yet. He's not angry. He didn't turn into the Hulk yet. So we just get a hit on Brony, which is fine. Like, yeah, sure. Hit Brony. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. Jen, I don't know how people stream like this. I just feel like there's so much shit in front of my face. Like, there's just too much stuff here. I don't like this. I like the way my other setup was. My throat's getting a little bit better, so I'll probably set things back up the way they were. It was a worthwhile experiment, but like, I don't like this. This is super uncomfortable. I'm very worried about the audio, too, because I'm going to edit things and it's just going to be like, oh, the audio sucks. Womp wah. Now, there is some damage getting... I mean, Bo, I guess, is going back to heal. This is way too passive. Although, I guess time is on your side. This is isolated. Excuse me. This is isolated, and if Brony gets live again, you might be able to lock them out. Like, send Brony in, follow up, disease. Even if Foul gets Bronied, you can still activate the disease ability. And disease, even on a Resurrect Phobie, isn't terrible. You know, you'd prefer to have it on something that's actually going to kill, but on a Resurrect Phobie, it can soften it up because that can be the difficulty with eliminating them is, of course, you do need to make sure that they don't leech back up to a decent health pool. This can chip them down, chip them down, chip them down, get them into range, and then all of a sudden, you take them out. Now, bad guy here is setting up a little bit of a pincer attack here. We do have Brony activated. We have Brony activated, but it can't, because of no terraform, you can't really connect with too many things. Brony is fairly healthy. This Daisy... I understand. But I think you could have actually played this a little more patiently. You could have waited and not had to Brony your Daisy. Now, admittedly, this does allow or prevents... Well, I guess they could have... So they were, what, here? 1, 2, 3... No, they were here. 1, 2, 3. They could have bull rushed through some things, but they chose not to. This was not a great Brony. This feels like a panic Brony. And I don't think you needed to panic yet. Similarly, the snowball should have stayed on the spa. There was really no need to pull it off yet. If they decide to come in and charge, you're actually okay with that. Because then you just blow it up. It's It's like, oh, you damaged my guys. Well, I'm just going to annihilate you. And then now they're down a phobie. Yeah, they could have backed it up and, like, claimed panic points or something, but I think you can expand out from there. Little, creepy radiator action. What do we got here? Making sure the pop guard wasn't, like, resting on the mic. As you can see, it is bringing Pterodactyl down into range. So now it's a 4-to-1 panic point advantage. You're under pressure. You gotta push out at this stage. Unfortunately... Okay, it is possible to get at the Pterodactyl if you can kill both. You get the takedown here, but you don't get the takedown on the Pterodactyl, which is a big feels bad moment. Like, if you could have gotten the Pterodactyl here, I think this is okay. I almost would rather have seen the Snowball come in here to protect Foul. What I imagine we're going to see is the Tramples come in and crush through these two. But we'll see how Bad Guy responds. Bad Guy could also just claim this panic point and, like... You're at 1,700 health. Well, barely under 18. Okay, so they chose to go this way, not through the Contortio. Which I guess kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Klepto is dead. Contortio is obviously dead. You kind of have to kill everything this turn. I just don't think you have enough damage. This is a good play. 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2. Yeah, you have to do this. Brony should be standing on the panic point so that they can't claim it back. Because they can represent, like, they could claim this point, and there's no way that you can push them off of it. Since they don't have Bull Rush, they can't, like, charge through and then stand on the spa, which would also be death to you. If Tramples attacks the heart, it isn't over. Yeah, exactly. At least not this turn. Because I guess you could Bull Rush through or something. Now, that being said, we're going to claim the point here. We're going to claim the point here. Oh, if Tramples attacks the heart, isn't it over? Not on that turn. Not on that turn. I mean, I think we were already in a position that Potenza is damned if they do, damned if they don't. Like, yes, Brony is body blocking. Sorry, I misread your comment, DT. Like, they are body blocking, but, like, I don't know. You're kind of just screwed, right? Like, there's really not much you can do at this stage. There wasn't enough stuff to finish the game out. And I think it boiled down to the earlier positional mistakes over the course of several turns. I don't think Brony was bad here. I don't think it had to do anything. Like, you actually, as I said, on the first Brony, you could have Bronied more stuff and possibly been better off. And then some of the positioning with Snowball and a few other things, I think it could have gone your way with a couple of changes. But either way, GG. Yeah, the Bull Rush was down at the time, so it would have been, like, only 600 damage. But admittedly, they wouldn't have been able to pull back and kill the Tramples quick enough anyway. Like, it doesn't matter. Or at least I don't think it mattered. Bad Guy really likes his ultra rares. BINGU back here on This May Sting a Little. Actually has the Jaws avatar now. Shout out to the Jaws avatar. Allegedly, Jaws attack animations aren't great. I don't know. Wow. Droney pass. That's a bold move there. It's a bold move. Bad guy with snowball pass? Doubt. Seems weird, chat. Seems weird. I hope I get some sleep tonight, chat. I'm wiped. I'm wiped out. Mummy. Big spender coming at you. We got a little mummy action. Mummy seems... like, all the phobies are 2D, right? Yes, there's a 3D element to it, but it's kind of like Paper Mario 3D. Mummy seems exceptionally flat. I don't know why, but it does seem exceptionally flat to me by comparison. Getting a little bad side manners. I'm not a huge fan of bad side. Not a huge fan of bad side. It does look really weird. All right, it's not just me then. Yeah, Mummy. Ooh, I never saw that before. The bug pops out of its mouth and part of the idol. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm excited for Mummy to show up in packs, although I probably won't get it for a while. And even if I do, probably like 6 months before I can realistically use it. I feel like Mummy is... I don't know. I popped into the main Discord earlier today, and people were really pooping on Mummy. They were really dumping on Mummy, and I just don't know. Akira, hey. You don't see that phobia every day. Unless you're towards the top of the ladder, and then you see it all the time. What are you going to do? Akira showing up to ruin people's day, as Akira does. I love how creepy Bad Side Manners is. Bad Side Manners also notably does not appear to have a bottom jaw. Its teeth just straight up come up out of its neck. Very weird game here. Huh? Blocking in the Akira, that's actually kind of cute. Oh, got him. Yo. The heads up big brain plays. Check this out. You got bad side coming in. Well, why don't you take pot shots at Akira? Because it doesn't matter. Repeller ruining people's dreams in 2023. GG. Got to get a replay for that one, chat. That's a good play. That's a good play. There is no world. There is literally no reality in which bad guy expected that play. No shot. And shout out to the Repeller avatar. Shout out to the Repeller avatar. Notably, this Mummy has done precisely zilch. Mummy's just like, yeah, I'm going on vacay. Don't worry about me. I love how Bad Side has to reload, pick up the dentures that it flung at somebody. It's like the Tim Burton Batman. When Joker dies at the end, spoiler alert. And you have the chattering teeth. Like, what is this Mummy doing besides nothing? Bad guy's still with 11 keys, but, I mean... Yeti's coming over the top to seal the deal. Woolly Bully. Yeah, the rest of this game kind of feels perfunctory after that Akira takedown. 9 keys for freezies. I guess technically not for free. But you are plus 8 keys throughout the various exchanges in this game. Bad guy. Are you serious? You can't be serious right now. Are you serious right now? Really? You can't make this up. You can't make this up. What's Wooly Bully? Wooly Bully's arguably the second best power down phobie. I think there's a strong case to say that it's the second best power down phobie. It doesn't get utilized a lot for a variety of reasons, but... just pushing hard. Don't even care about anything else at this stage. You know, I'm not going to lie. Part of me, I want to know if our hero here originally intended the gargoyles to be the centerpiece for this repeller-based strategy and just boop things into the pit. I mean, your opponent has to cooperate to a degree, right? But I do wonder if that was their plan. And if that is true, is that applicable on other maps? I don't know that, like, this matters. I mean, it kind of does, but, like, both of these can still hammer this. That guy's out of keys, though. But my point is that gargoyles can be, you know, it's not uncommon to have to go send something in so that you can boop something into a pit. But it's also not uncommon for that thing to go in and die. Well, what if it was gargoyles and it just, you know, doesn't die? And, of course, is more mobile thanks to flight. Seems like a decent application. Seems reasonable. At least on paper. Getting the freeze on Chuck here. I feel like you absolutely could have just gone for the heart. Boop. I have no idea why these things are happening. Like, at all. But our hero here with a couple of really cool boops off the repeller. GG. Well played. Very well played. Those are some big brain plays. Game 3. Hi, Georgie. Hi, Georgie. Welcome back. Welcome back. Not perfect, but I got the job done. This is probably my most stressful game ever. Everybody's got one of those. Master Dark, what's good? I was surprised the stream started 1 hour earlier, but then I remember you had an hour change in Europe. Yep, the USA one's coming up soon. It's coming up soon. There were a few people that were commenting on it earlier because obviously we have a number of Europeans that compete in Fright Night, which, by the way, I didn't mention it, but Monster of the Week, I've decided to call the weekly events. I'm going to try and get those up and running. I do have the preliminary rules in Discord. If you're interested in that and you're listening to this on YouTube, check out the links in the description. Much smaller scale event for obvious reasons. I want to... Good title, thank you. I do want to make it as hands-off as possible so it just runs. You know, we just do it, and then that way, even if I'm not... Like, say I take a week off of streaming for reasons, and there are still weekends this year where I'm going to do that, it could still run because I'll just like put the bracket up and do minimal monitoring, you know, just in case something really hits the fan, and we can keep it going. Why is there a Charon on the board? Bad guy turned off their own panic point. I know that I say that's a bold move, Cotton, a lot. First of all, I love Dodgeball. Like, that's a funny movie. But holy shit, this is a bold move, Cotton. It's the classic turn off your own panic points gambit. I don't know about this one. Like, I don't know about microscopic, but, like, you could put whatever you want. Their strat is too complex for you to understand. That mind, blown. You need the galaxy brain gif. It's the guy just doing this. I mean, seriously, like, why is this happening? Can this gravedigger just... Yeah. Admittedly, these are one movers, so you still have to, like, shuffle around. And the mic is vulnerable still. Looks like they're going for it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand. I mean, I guess Jar trades for the mic. Oh, no, they're gonna body block here. They're gonna body block here. I mean, you probably still trade Jar for Mike. Klepto to help clear the Contortio? Erratic, okay. I mean, sure. Huh. Okay, so I would have personally gone, like, Snowball Jar or something like that in order to try and get these two and this. Like, I think you probably could have got all three. Oh, this is a really low stress level game. Oh, okay, okay. Hold, please. I take it all back. We have a very low stress level game. So, Snowball's not an option. Jar is like... This explains a lot. This explains a lot. It also informs why the erratic is on the board. Like, erratic is a big deal at low stress levels. And I imagine that Charon is just because, hey, I got this cool new phobie, let me use it. Cassowary Ginsting on Gravedigger is all I would have used if they have them. Well, they only... No, they had 6 keys. They had 6 keys, so that would have worked. Rocket Man! Everybody loves the Pocket Rocket Man. Sniping the Jar, this is bold because the Rocket Man's clearly going to freeze erratic. So can you kill this? All right, this takedown's important. 4 keys to 3. But it's 4 panic points, and Rocket Man can absolutely slap the crap out of things. Rocket Man, even at low levels, this is almost 600 damage. It's a level 11 Rocket Man, which kind of dwarfs everything. Why are these levels, like, all over the place? We had, like, level 4 Phobies, level 6 Phobies, then a level 11 Phobie. This is all up and down the gamut here. Sheep as the final phobie. I mean, I don't hate it. There's 2 dimensionals on the board. Our hero's under an enormous amount of heart pressure here. What are we looking at health-wise? 1125. The erratic is dead if these things stay. Actually, is it just dead? It's not just dead, right? It is dead. Oh, no. That being said, the sheep will be able to connect. Me with my level 6 unicorn, level 13, 14 phobies, and a level 16 boss. Got him. No, not like this. 71 health. Oh, the extra set of attacks. I can understand why Georgie was sweating this one. If this Rocket Man went down, like, all right, this game's over. But now that the Rocket Man lived, the calculus changes. I mean, it lived for 1 turn. Interesting prioritizing this. This has 1800. Wait, what? They really have over 1800 health at level 7? Wow. Going after the softer target, I get it. Ooh, bad guy. Going for the Bow Mangle's Heart Rush, the classic strategy. But at this stage, mobile phobies in higher quantities against immobile phobie in lower quantities. It's a tough one for bad guy. Especially since this Gravedigger is going to leech life. And I imagine bad guy must have done the math multiple times. But guess what? 496 times 2 is less than 1331. For any of you mathologists out there, aka mathematician. Bad guy putting on the pressure, though. Running him down, just making it. GG. Well played. That got pretty scary. That got pretty scary. I do think that one turn, you could have cleaned that up with a different response than the erratic, and I think you would have been in a significantly better position. But other than that, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So, GG. Game number 4 is Karst on Detention. What do we got here? Used Minotaur glob zones the enemy out for the win. So this is, of course, up against everybody's favorite bad guy, Hoploy. Why a favorite? Because people just love to celebrate their W's against Hoploy, as few and far between as they may be. Hoploy, once again, top of the ladder, last I checked. Notably, Karst going with Sock Ass, and that is not a one key you commonly see. What do you think, chat? Is it worth going Sock Acin just to eat the inevitable muffin? I kind of feel like it is. And I have to wonder, if you have Sock Acin at a high enough level that you can, your opponent has to respect the poison, and they have to muffin it, is it viable then to try and push for poison on a non-healing spot map? So, for example here, I don't know that Karst is going to do this, and obviously we know that we have Glob coming in, but like, if Sock Acin swings through, it poisons this unicorn, right? That's a 471 poison. Like, that's a significant poison. This will kill this thing if it doesn't, it will kill this corn if it doesn't have a muffin intercede. Is it viable to then follow up and overload on poison once you've gotten your opponent to commit to using the muffin? There's no spa on this map. I may be overthinking this. Yeah, level 20 Sock Acin is pretty high level. DT's pointing out that Karst usually starts with Sock Acin. It is a pretty high level phobie. Sock is not often seen since Sultry Air would be nearly always played if it was common. Possibly. The thing is that there's valid reasons to not play Sock Acin even if you have access to it, because it is very fragile. Here's the main reason why you wouldn't see it even if, like the poison tragedy, because Bluelian exists. Bluelian on the watch list, we'll call it, for Monster of the Week. Not currently on the ban list. Not currently on the ban list, but I might add it. I don't know. It's very close. I went back and looked at my own nerf request list when we looked at Karst's tier list months ago, speaking of Karst, and I don't disagree with myself. I do think that those things are appropriate, but the thing is that I don't know that they necessarily need to get banned right now, the other ones. So, like, Hevo 3.0 is on that list. Honestly, I prefer Henrietta because it's more tanky. Well, I like that there are those foils. You have a glass cannon, quote-unquote, poisoner versus a tank poisoner at one key, if you look at it that way. This might just be a dead cassowary. That's just a dead cassowary. That's the power of levels. I'm not going to give everybody a jump scare by going and looking at Hoploy's levels, but just trust me. They're very high. Alright, Glob. Get to zoning. Now, this is a dead jar. I imagine that's what Karst is going to go for. And then Glob zones out on the bottom because... yeah, the fire ant could not have placed a trap yet that would be salient. And the follow-up spider, I like this. We're getting scrappy down to the low keys, and this is where you can get cool things happening because, hey, that Glob now is a legit threat, and it may get 2 kills, which is kind of what you need Glob to do. It kind of has to get 2 kills, or it's not quite good enough, in my opinion. That's a dead Klepto, though. 0 keys remaining for Hoploy, but Karst is going to have to find a way to make this work. So presumably that fire ant did place a trap. The only question is where. Glob om-nom-nomming the spicy ant. This just looks gross. Like, this looks like a hairball. It's grimy. Minotaur, the final phobie. I wonder if this was... like, did Karst really foresee this? Or is this just, I have 3 keys. The hell with it. I'm putting a random 3 key on the board. I mean, this is not bad. I really thought that attacked twice already. Fun fact, my first Glob kill was nearly the boss of Man in Yellow. So it sounds like it wasn't your first Glob kill then. That's a big oof moment. Not killing that snowball. However, ooh, alright, so... this whole thing seems to have more to do with this trap that's getting laid. Or activated, I guess. As you make poison damage before spas cure it. I could see it. At this point in the game, changing it could cause more issues than you might like. Oh, that's not a kill there. It is going to be a kill back here, though. Glob around the world. This is like the end of the movie The Blob. If you haven't seen it, it's probably not worth watching. I'm not going to lie. Oh, no! It lives! This is actually a good play by Karst because you body block out the blue lion. You body block out the blue lion. Hoploy taking a panic point advantage, but the blue lion can only heal itself with the spas. You can't encroach here because the Glob will actually consume either of these phobies and in relatively short order. 1662 to 5220. And that's the ball game. That's the ball game. Concession comes in. Shout out to Karst with the Glob. I didn't think it was going to happen. I mean, we knew it was going to happen, but like, if you told me going into the game, I don't know if that would have worked. Especially given the lineup that was presented by Hoploy. The Minotaur did matter. He was able to get some multi-hits, so that is salient to this entire exchange. Glob Spider on detention. I'm going to have to remember that one. What level is it? Level 19 Glob, though. 4k health. Like, I don't even remember what my Glob level is. But GG, well played. Minotaur's pretty underrated. I think Minotaur is underrated. Admittedly, I don't use it much myself. I have a level 13 Glob. 3k health is a lot, but not when you're a one mover that can also, like, just get annihilated by displacement. What's interesting is that Hoploy did not respond with any displacement at any point. So, for example, if Hoploy put a repeller on the board, instead of that Bluelian? Do they just take over that game? And lock out Karst because you've invested 4 keys in a Phobie that is arguably unusable at that stage. Plus, of course, it's a 3 ranger that can poke at stuff, and it's probably like level 27 knowing Hoploy. Could be. Bingus. Bingus on deck. Phasmophobia. Let's go. Very close game. Pterodactyl for the W. I think it goes in the same level of underrated as Octonaughty and Leela. No one plays it now. I think Leela is just bad, which I'm okay with. Horror 2 game? Maybe. I mean, this is also very low stress level. I was very concerned about Leela and Tick and all the other disease phobies, but I was concerned in the same vein that I was for Buffalo Will. And I think I said this at the time. I'd have to go back and listen back to my own videos, which I'm not going to do. I listen to myself enough, chat. I don't need to do that. I was concerned about those phobies like Buffalo Will in the sense that if they are good, they're going to be busted. Like, it's going to be extremely problematic. However, it's entirely possible that they're just bad. Like, I'm not surprised that the team played it cautiously, and we haven't really seen Buffalo Will at all. Like, almost literally at all. I played against somebody who used Will the other day, and it was a waste of 7 keys. They just set 7 keys on fire and set themselves back by an enormous amount. Even if you have access to something like Akira, odds are you're better off just playing a more standard phobie. Funny thing, we all start thinking disease is OP. In the end, it's good or okay. At worst, it's really bad, like Paschetti. I mean, the thing is disease is really good. It's just that if it's similar to Russell, where some mechanics are inherently very powerful, right? Just because of the way the games play out. And because they are inherently powerful, they may more easily, or should more easily, cross a threshold of, hey, now I'm so good that the game is warped around my play patterns. And if that's true, that's not necessarily a good thing. My fresh new Leela is level 8, and for comparison, my Poison Ivy is 17, Baba Yaga is 18. I don't know what we're getting at here. Like, if you just got Leela, kind of feel like you really do need the stats, especially HP when you have one move. For sure, you definitely need stats. One of the bigger issues I found with Leela is just getting it into the fray. But it's also, like, 5 is an awkward cost. You don't really want to do that. Also, wait, hold on. I don't know what bad guy is doing here. Like, there was a quick pick down here. We're busy talking about other stuff, but, like, you get to pick on the Contortio. They meatball the cat and walk away. All right. It just feels like our hero going first is dominating everything on Phasmophobia. I don't know. I was waiting for something to happen, but it feels like our blue player is just kind of dominating here. I'd be happy to experiment with it if I thought I could do something other than die by accident. Well, that's what happened to me when I first started to try to use Leela. I don't know. Just to finish the thought on Leela, for now anyway, the one move and the cost make it really awkward. It's really difficult to get Leela online and have a meaningful impact because not only is it slow, its ability is inherently passive, right? Not a passive that's happening all the time, but passive as in you need your opponent to come to you and interact with it. And we've talked about Akira in the sense, well, how do you beat Akira? Well, don't let them get to Akira. Okay, easier said than done. Well, you can pressure a lot in the early game. Like, say you zone into Biff's room, and your opponent goes 1 key pass, because then they want to go Leela. You could very easily, maybe not easily, but it's not impossible for you to cap all 3 panic points and have a defensible position such that they can't just walk the Leela into range. And then it's like, okay, you set yourself back for 2, 3, 4 turns for them to claw back in, and by then you may have been able to set up, maybe bank to something big and nasty. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to dodge Leela, even on a small, like, claustrophobic map. And on a big map, it just seems pointless because it'll take 100 years to get into range. Odds are they're not going to step on the trap anyway. Like, it's different where it's a fire ant, and a fire ant could already cause trouble. Like, something accidentally hits it, and then it locks off a huge swath of an area. Leela is a single tile. Maybe Leela can work on, like, Pyro Abyss. There have to be maps where it's useful. It's just, I haven't had any, like, I forget that I even have it. I'd try to play Phobies even if I just got it and they're low level, so I already learned to play them, and since it's under level, I have to think to overcome that low level. I disagree, because sometimes it is just legitimately pointless. Like, if the phobia is under level, there are some phobies that are just going to do nothing when they're under level, because they are a stat-based phobia. In which case, you're not getting a good look at them, and it may actually negatively influence your strategies, your game plans with those phobies, because you can't do anything. Bad guy seems to be heavily playing into the event here. Our hero with 5 keys, bad guy with 6, but there's a 4 panic point at 4 to 1. Pressure on the heart. Primate, sure. The numbskull is really hurting bad guy here. Maybe not, like, enormously so, but definitely not helping him. I didn't like this Hevo play, because this was going to happen. I guess if you're going to find a way to kill the Daisy, but I don't think you have enough damage here to realistically kill either of these. So you end up losing the Hevo for no reason. Excuse me. Do get the pterodactyl, though. Gotta love that guy. Thankfully, I'm the type of guy that thinks Boot Fairy is not that bad. I can't agree with that one. Boot Fairy is not good. I don't think it would take a lot more for Boot Fairy to be a little bit better. But right now, it's just not that good. Cat going down. See, the problem is you might be able to kill one thing, but you can't stay here as hero. You'll end up losing stuff. They are losing things in the north. Ultimately, it's Hevo Creep and 2 1 keys for 1 key. Like, hero's actually kind of getting blown out here. Probably won't remain that way. Wow, can you tank the... I guess you can kill this. So you kill the primate. However, not enough damage to kill these, so of course Jin Sting is going to die. Leap is down. So there is that. Noxious... Wait, what? Why did you do this? Why did this happen? I don't know about that one, Bingus. Like, I like the Noxious play. I did that to keep the Daisy up there. Could they have killed the pterodactyl otherwise? Because if not, who cares? They might have been able to kill the pterodactyl. Combination of this, Daisy, this. Probably not, though, right? 18. I don't think they killed the pterodactyl. I think that was unnecessary. Because the only thing that's exposed here is the pterodactyl. I think it's a good move since opponents seem to forget the heart. I guess? But you could alternatively just have a Noxious that then brutalizes their whole team. Like, don't get me wrong, if your opponent makes a mistake after you made a play, that's good, right? But that doesn't mean that the play that was made was optimal. Well, but that's the thing, Master Dark, is you do want to try and play, even at lower ranks, you want to do the optimal thing, the correct thing, because, like, that's part of learning, is trying to find the correct play. And I think keeping Noxious alive here would have been way more valuable. There's really no need to incinerate 5 keys. Now, admittedly, Bad Guy is caught up here in the north and not interacting down here. And, like, there's just no way for them to realistically kill the pterodactyl at this point. Like, they're just not going to have enough bodies. Boss. A little late there, pal. It's a little late there. Alright, get a little repositioning action. Definitely makes sense. If you stay there, you're probably dead. Definitely a heads-up play to keep the pressure on. Go for the throat here. The biggest thing, not even just the Noxious, but I feel like there were multiple Phobies that were sacrificed through the course of this game that didn't necessarily have to be. It's easy to say when we're observing it, as opposed to being in the moment, of course. It's more difficult to do it in the game. In lower ranks, you want to do quests. Well, there's no... I mean, you want to, of course, grow your collection in any means feasible when you're at lower ranks. But either way, GG there, Bingus. Taking it down on the new map. Pterodactyl, in fact, a terror in the lower ranks. GG. And Pterodactyl is very scary. I remember the first time I saw it. And it was pretty cool. And also scary. All the cemetery maps are incredible. I'm not a huge fan of Phasmophobia right now. I don't know how I feel about Dearly Departed yet. Phasmophobia may come around. Like, I'm keeping an open mind. But there is a risk of it being problematic for player 2. That being said, we only saw player 2 win on that map today in top 8, I think. I don't think we saw player 1 win. We did see a number of people choose, after they lost game 1, to go first on Phasmophobia and then lose. Alright, next up, Dino Nuggy. First time playing this new map, and I kinda like it. Okay, so this is literally the only game that I have seen on this map. Because this map is no longer in rotation. Why? This was... This was a contest winner. Who was it, chat? Who was the person who submitted this map? The reason it matters, and the reason why it's no longer in rotation, is there was an error made by the devs when they implemented it, that one of these vaults and hearts needs to be swapped. So either put the vault here and the heart here, or put the vault here and the heart here. To be honest, it's the only map you don't like. At this point, I really like both cemetery maps are in now, but never figured out what I want to do on the previous ones, so I don't know about them. So you're not counting, like, transaction decline? Is that on the crypto tile set? It's definitely not, like, the real cemetery one, but it is a new tile set, right? It's not on the crypto one. Oh, it is the money theme? What? So you don't like Death or Gloria, Tona? I've been playing a lot more Pokemon, so when you're saying, like, oh, I don't like it because it's like Pokemon, I'm like, maybe I should get into this game more. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon lately. TCG. I always felt like there was something wrong with this map. Well, it's not implemented the way that the creator wanted it. Lucifer, bad guy, how fitting. With the Stairmaster. Transaction declined is honestly the only small map I really appreciate if it's kind of a big map lover. That's fair. Bad guy offering up their phobies to be eaten alive. See, this is how you deal with the germs, chat. You cook them. I mean, that is kind of what we do. When you cook your food, it's to, aside to make it taste good, it also deals with the bacteria and other microorganisms. How fitting to deal with the Gesundheit in such a fashion. It's not like Pokemon, but it feels like you're solving a puzzle rather than playing a heads-up game, which is how I feel about Pokemon. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, we've talked about this before. I disagree to the extent that, like, yes, there are no instants in Pokemon, and you do need to address the threats. Hold on. I want to give this game some attention. In the Pokemon TCG, you do need to address what is presented and adapt to your opponent's game plan. That usually takes the form of, I need to tutor, draw for, find a way to locate specific cards, and take a specific line. It is definitely, like, mentally, I am jumping tracks to a different strategy as opposed to being a more fluid response, I guess is how I would put it. But in most other games, maybe I'm now at the point where it's like, I know how the sausage is made sort of thing, where it just feels like, yeah, in this matchup, I want this to happen. In this matchup, I want that to happen in any game. And I wonder if you're at the same point, Detona, where, like, you just came at these other games at a time where you already had that knowledge, and therefore you're being critical of them. But if you had swapped it and, like, started with those games but had picked up whatever now, would you have the same complaint because of the experience you have, if that makes sense? Little hydrate action. Maybe. I mean, yeah, there's no real way to know. I mean, I can't really disagree that, yes, like, in a lot of matchups, it's, hey, I know my opponent's setting up this defensive position in Pokemon. I need to find boss's orders at a certain interval in order to bypass it and then pressure them. Or against Charizard EX, I know I can't KO certain things until a certain point because, or I have to target down certain things because otherwise they're going to come at me and one-hit me every time. Or stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, I've been enjoying it because I'm like getting into their Elder Dragon Highlander format called Gym Leader Challenge. I'm getting into, like, I'm like, I bought a bunch of physical stuff for that. I'm probably gonna try and play in some of the tournaments and packs in lieu of playing Lorcana. Even though my team is, like, really invested in Lorcana. I don't know, there's certainly a level where I want to feel more back and forth interaction regardless of whose sausage is getting made. Maybe I need to get out of card games again and something more immediate. I mean, there's this. Like, fighting games give you what you want. Fighting games are still turn-based to a degree, it's just the turns are much shorter. The mobile app Pokemon TCG? Well, that's where I primarily play, but it started and is a physical game. And we can talk about that more later as we're going through, but I want to give Dino Nuggy some attention. Notably for all you Hydra enjoyers here, we're actually seeing more erratics. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, bad guy. Electricat, not the answer to Hydra. I'm not going to claim to be better than our Fright Night champions. At least not right now. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say Electricat is not the answer. That being said, this is a big whooping getting put on this Hydra. But it lives. It lives, chat. It lives to chomp another day. Is a good sheep incoming? Yeah, that seems like a decent sheep. It's a decent sheep, chat. This would not have died to the fire. Dial seems really good. Well, if it's in the next game, we'll take a look. Bad guy definitely putting in a significant effort here, but this is going to die if 2 poison ticks come through. Our hero with only 2 keys remaining. This is way closer than it probably should have been, but a triple, well, not triple, but 3-1 panic point advantage. I thought at this point everyone knew Dial was very strong. It is, but it has, like, you know, like, it has specific uses. Bad guy getting aggressive with their erratic, probably because they have to. This actually hurts that you needed to put this into range. However, it's still 1100 health. I guess the part of the issue is my brain is there's a distinct difference between feeling gamey and feeling puzzly. And more CCGs are leaning into the latter. Imagine this is how it feels when old metalheads want more guitar noodling and less breakdowns. They are different things. I don't know. We'll come back to it. I do appreciate that Dino Nuggy here has had, like, close to no fear of these poison tiles. I mean, it of course makes sense in this context. But, like, I absolutely anticipate there's a lot of people who are just like, I can't go on the tile. But Dino Nuggy was willing to go in with different phobies in order to get there. And also the sacrifice, we'll call it a sacrifice with the Hydra early on. Definitely valuable, because although it was scary, oh yeah, I'm going to get hit by not just Electric Cat, but primarily Erratic, and then on top of it, the Stairmaster. But going in anyway and getting value out of it, because despite the electric attacks, it still absorbed an enormous amount of damage, thereby letting the rest of the phobies continue to do work, reposition, and what you needed. So, well played, Dino. Well played. Dial never seemed to... Dial seems to... I gotta reread this. Hold on. Dial seems to never get played, I guess is what that's saying. Which is kind of weird because you don't even have a real level problem since it's all about the ability. I just feel like he's never here while being strong. The problem is I think Dial doesn't need levels because Dial is exceptionally fragile and it has to be. Like Dial... My Dial... Where is he? It's level 11 and only has 1200 health. Like, that is not a lot. That's not a lot of health. Yes, it is about the ability, but sending 3 keys in to turn something off for a couple of turns, and maybe not even a couple of turns, depending on the board state, it takes a lot of precision. So I think that it's intentionally a specific response to big one movers, which often don't really need, like a Dozer or Blasto, you don't often need a response to. But as DT's pointing out, it's a counter pick. It's not a... You don't just slam Dial in your standard rotation, which I say this a lot, but I think Phobies is designed around everybody has everything at the same level. And the goal is you have your core Phobies, and then you have Phobies on the periphery that are your picks, counter picks, unique strategies where it's, I'm going to do this. If they don't know how to respond to it, I'll win. If they respond to it, then I respond in this way. And you go back and forth until somebody runs out of keys. Or, of course, you have to... This assumes perfect play both up to, through, and past that point. And Dial happens to fit in those rotations. I think it's perfectly acceptable to play Dial. Just, you need the appropriate scenario for it. Dial is something I play on a daily basis just for fun. You say that until you lose a lot of games because you're starting at -3 keys. I mean, that's what it comes down to for a lot of phobies. It's fine to have fun phobies, cool phobies, your favorite phobie, but not every phobie is good in every scenario. And you can win even though it's a suboptimal phobie, but the definition of it being suboptimal is that you are hurting yourself. Dial wouldn't be bad against players shoves Hydra or Cerberus in your face. Yeah, I could see that. Level 1 healer, yeah, I don't. Dr. Dermix is like close to unplayable. I don't ever see a point. Like, when am I going to want Dr. Dermix that I can't just have Clinico? Yeah, there are scenarios, but it's very rare. Very rare. Since we're in between games, just to call back to Atona's point, I'm curious, Atona, what game would you say is gamey? Which is funny. Versus puzzly. Like, we have examples of ones that you feel are puzzles, and I can't really disagree. Like, solving the puzzle, but I don't know, like, that definition can be applied to, for example, early Magic. That was how it was sold, was that it was chess, it was solving the puzzle. They used to have that in the Duelist, the like, can you win in this turn? I mean, every game does that now, but games where you don't interact on your opponent's turn are like that. How would I balance Dr. Dermot? It's balanced. It's fine. Not every phobia is going to be useful. Like, it's just that Dr. Dermot is useful in such a minute subset of scenarios. It's like Dial. When do you want Dr. Dermot over Clinico? When you have a singularly large phobia that has to get healed for an enormous amount. And 9 times out of 10, probably more than that, probably like 999 times out of 1,000, you can just do something else. I mean, you could just layer stuff on and be like, well, what if Dr. Dermot also conferred disease onto enemies when it attacked? Or like, what if Dr. Dermot was the only healer that could actually cure poison? You know, you completely rework the poison mechanic. Or, I don't know, it punches holes in things and it makes them go faster because then it's more aerodynamic. I don't know. You could layer all these things on, but I think most of the game of phobies is fine. It's okay that these phobies, some phobies suck. And by suck, I mean some of them are just bad. But I think it's okay that some phobies have a very niche. Like, they are very niche. They don't have wide application. I think the old WoW TCG felt super gamey for a CCG. Also think MTG feels fairly gamey, even though it has an issue with its mana system. Shadowverse actually feels somewhat gamey, but it also feels less so than MTG or WoW. Hearthstone feels gamier than Pokemon to me, but I think it's a really terribly designed game. It doesn't feel like a puzzle, though. DC Dual Force feels gamey, but suffers a lot of stuff for Hearthstone, but less so. Do you feel it has to do with the resource system? Because Pokemon has a granular resource system, a linear resource system like WoW or Magic. I don't know how Shadowverse does it. And similar to Hearthstone, although obviously some differences there. DC Dual Force doesn't, but a lot of the other games that, like, Pokemon is type 1 Magic. Like, Pokemon plays like vintage Magic. Not vintage as in old, like vintage the format, for anybody wondering. I know what Tona knows. Like, where, yeah, you can only play one land a turn, but, like, nobody cares. You're just bypassing that. And that's basically what happens in Pokemon. Like, most of the decks have, like, 6 resource cards. Or less. I play Mew Genesect right now. It has literally 4. I know Heartbreaker isn't that good, but I just got him. Heartbreaker is actually very, 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 very good. Heartbreaker, use it on maps, and we'll get into games. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 4 more games to do tonight, chat. Heartbreaker, you want to use on maps that have abyss tiles for what I presume are very obvious reasons. However, don't be afraid to Heartbreaker something into the middle of your team and then just kill it. But you need to stalemate the game. Heartbreaker is a stalemate breaker, and also keep in mind that Heartbreaker is a phobie that is more threatening with its ability, like in general. Like the ability is more threatening than using it in many scenarios because your opponent must respect it. It's like, okay, if I offer up my best phobie, it's going to die. But as soon as you use it, your opponent has an enormous window to do whatever they want. I did play Ice Cream often, even if the situation wasn't for it really, and I do like that half my games, I come to the point where if I play something logic, or really basic, where the problem... Remember, I'm kind of the exception since I'm specialized in playing phobies in the game plan out there, comfort zone. I'm sorry, Master Dark. Sometimes I have to read like your whole statement before I understand what you're getting at. I think what you're saying is that you'll play, in this case, you're talking about Ice Cream, but you'll play phobies, and your whole shtick is that you'll use phobies even when they're not supposed to be used in order for the sake of trying to get out of your comfort zone, get other people out of their comfort zone, which I think is fine. But the flip side of that is you're going to lose games because you're using things when they're not supposed to be used, which is fine, as long as you're enjoying the game. I guess the main thing is at some point it needs to feel like the decisions of both players can converge in a meaningful interaction where decisions are weighed against each other. The thing I do has to impact the thing you do and vice versa. I feel like I need the thing you did changed how I think about the thing I'm doing. I think that's fair. I think that's reasonable, Latona. I think that there are games in Pokemon where that changes things. And to me, if I have to change my line, so for example, I played this offline because I was doing my dailies after Fright Night. I'm playing Muse Genesect. I'm playing against Alakazam EX. In that deck, they use a lot of stall Pokemon. Ones that either turn off your abilities, they literally can't take damage from certain types of Pokemon, like usually the really powerful ones, they're format defining, that sort of thing. And then Alakazam has an attack where it can actually attack from the bench. So you have your blocker up front and you can't get through. My opponent led off with stuff that turns off my, not Wheel of Fortune guy, but like the draw full hand guy, the Genesect. So my entire line changes where I have to go find boss's orders and I need to sequence my plays and my tutors for a different set of cards, or I just can't even get up off the ground. Which that is due to the matchup. However, it also drives what I'm targeting because I only have 2 boss's orders, so I need to make them count, and the timing of that is important. Now, their decision-making, of course, changes of, well, hey, if they need to prioritize finding and getting more copies of that guy, because eventually I'll kill it. And I think that that does matter and fit in the category you're saying. Now, the quantity of those decisions or the complexity of those decisions, I think, can be up for debate. Because, yeah, at the end of the day, I think Pokemon is somewhat simple. I still find it enjoyable because I like solving that puzzle. My biggest complaint about Pokemon is it is an early 90s or mid-90s card game where sometimes you sit down and guess what? You just lose because of variance. Stuff ends up in your prizes. There's issues with like typing mismatches where it's like, lots of problems there. Oh, my bad. I watched the last tier list video, which is outdated. I'm on now. I don't know what to properly use them. Which tier list video were you watching? Because I've never done one, Bingus. I've never done one kind of intentionally. What's the best counter? Heartbreaker? Furkin's actually a good response. Diving, because Heartbreaker is made of glass. You could just shatter him. I didn't like Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it was bad Type 1 Magic, because it was so wildly inconsistent. That may not be true anymore, but it was trying to be Type 1 Magic before Pokemon went in that direction. Pokemon used to be pretty boring, with the exception of a handful of decks, because they just had the early game, oops, we don't know how our own game works. So, like, Stone Rain was free, so and then they had a better Stone Rain. It was bad. But Yu-Gi-Oh!, I don't know how the modern stuff works, and as a result, I can't speak to it intelligently, but it very much, like, if you have a 40-card deck, and you have 38 one-ofs, to me, that is, like, hyper variance. And that's okay, but that's also hypervariance. And I don't think the fact that I play very unusual makes me lose more often than that, or, you know, or it would mean that I would be Sum of All Fears 3 level and don't see myself at that level. I mean, I don't think you can reasonably say that if you play things at the wrong time, Master Dark, that it's not hurting you. Like, would you win more games if you only played the quote-unquote correct phobies at the correct times? Yes, unequivocally. The fact that you're winning anyway doesn't mean that you are not harming yourself. And harm is kind of an extreme word in this context. Like, you're not hurting yourself. You can't say you're not hurting yourself, but you may still be winning anyway because you are better than your opponent. That is, like, all those things are possible. Heartbreaker really needs to brush his teeth. Yeah, my man looking like candy corn over here. But keep in mind, I like the old L5R before they simplified it. I never played that. I remember hearing that it was really complex, but I think that was also 90s game design. I think that there is a middle ground between the modern streamlined stuff and 90s game design, because 90s game design was very clunky, where it's just like, we can't communicate what we want, but this is close enough, shove it out the door. And now it's like, assume that everyone's illiterate, so they can't do anything, or the better cards just have an entire glossary because they have so much text. Like, those are the options. All right, chat. Let's get into one game, and then I got to take a quick break, and then we'll do the others. Ooh, we got a little fish tank avatar. Oh, you got to favorite your games, people. Come on. This game probably isn't even on your profile anymore. Oh, maybe it is. Fish tank avatar. Bring in the noise. It's Rosaldo. Dial plus Ivy action and fooling around with Blondie and Droney. Interesting. So Rosaldo, I think, is new to game breakdowns. I don't believe we reviewed any of their games. But this is also on one of the new maps. This was in the previous rotation, and honestly, I kind of like this map. It's claustrophobic in a different way. So as compared to, like, the Coliseum maps layout that I always describe, you know, think Biff's Room, think Pyro Abyss, think, I guess, kind of Scopaceum, but not really. Like, you know, you get the obstacle, so it sets up this center area where everybody's supposed to congregate, and then the phobies just slap the snot out of each other. As compared to here, where it's kind of in an hourglass shape, thanks to... Whoop, I hit the pop card. Thanks to the disease tiles, but it still forces you into, like, congregating in these areas. It's just kind of split here and here. Bad guy went with Maggie right out the gate, and they're absolutely willing to sacrifice these two keys for no reason. Blondie and Rambolina. This very much seems like Bad Guy just had this game plan in mind. Like, they knew they were going to do this. However, I have bad news for them. Because, yeah, this is not going to... Maggie's just dead. And there's the Dial. We spent a lot of time talking about Dial in between games, but this is a 4-to-1 panic point advantage hero. I guess that may also be a bit of it. Maybe I just prefer the 90s game design. The dumb stuff sometimes creates song and dance you don't get when you actively try to put the game on rails. I don't know that the game's necessarily on rails, but the more efficient game design in card games in the modern incarnations definitely... They simultaneously take something... Oh, the Poison Ivy trap. Got him. They take something away and they add something. Like, it's a cost-benefit analysis. You do lose something, but you do gain something. Dial on Rambolina. Not something you see every day. Chat, our hero is just crapping on Bad Guy here. Also a low stress level game. I mean, this is a level 7 rate charm. Wait, what? Why is everything... Chat, we've had several games tonight where these stress levels, these phobia levels are like all over the place. The bait. The bait. Okay, bad guy. Are you going to fall for this trap? Are you going to fall for this trap, bad guy? Are you going to do it? Bad guy. No, bad guy's getting out. Bad guy saw this coming 100 miles away. Bad guy knew what was happening here. Bad guy knew what was happening. Definitely saw this coming. They knew. They knew. Bad guy with their own Ray Chargels, apparently in order to fight Dial. I guess. Repeller, huh? I don't know that I like the position here. I think you'd be better off sliding it up on the disease tiles just to keep it farther back. It could be bait here to try and be like, hey, come after me. Or we're going to get a terraform here to crack this boy wide open and then swing in and murder the Ray Chargels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Terraform, baby. You love to see it. This was a great trap. This was a great trap. Not an actual trap like from Poison Ivy, but definitely set a trap here and bad guy just wandered right into it. There was no need to even go here. There's no need to even go here. The fish tank avatar up here, just like catch these hands. Get wrecked, nerd. The aggro Rambolina here. You know, I don't hate Rambolina on this map. Has anybody tried Rambolina here? I love the gameplay of Rosaldo. Clearly something I could play if I had Ivy and Dial. I don't know how much impact Dial's having on this game. I mean, it did take the Rambo out for a couple turns. Not like kill it, obviously, but... I don't understand bad guy's game plan here with the jackalopes. I mean, presumably we're going to see a king shortly. Boop. Dial directly counters the Blondie. Kinda, sorta. I think the Blondie countered itself. Because the Blondie went all the way up here. And it's a one mover, so it... Like, how many turns has Blondie going up there and then coming back? It countered itself. Tempo is a very difficult concept in any game to really grok. And even for good players, strong players, great players at all levels of all games. And yeah, Blondie is just a spectator is right. You're absolutely right, Quandavius. Like, Blondie just went up into the nosebleed section, got a Coke and some popcorn, and is just, you know, they're watching the show. Yeah, Blondie's chasing down Droney. Good luck with that one, pal. I don't know if you know this, Blondie, but you are not a track star. You are not running any track and field Olympics anytime soon. Oh, the juicy hits here for Klepto. The Jackalope brutality here. Moly bully. That's a reference I don't get, Master Dark. I know what Clash of Clan is, but I have no idea what those what those characters are. Klepto pays with its life. Mopsy pays with her life. LOL? I would call this a comedy of errors, but that isn't really the appropriate way to describe this. This is just... I kind of feel like we need the Benny Hill theme song playing in the background for the Blondie, just running around the map like an idiot. What has this Blondie done? Like, hold on, chat. What has this Blondie done all game? What is this doing? What in... I'm feeling Mugatu here, chat. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. This is the third time Dial has hit this freaking Rambolina. This is the third time. What is happening? Uh-oh, Blondie might get to do something, chat. Watch out. Honestly, not that Rambolina's done a whole lot either. Yeah, Rambolina found their favorite show. Rambolina found their favorite show and is just glued to that television. Lol, Repeller can't trade with the... Can't kill the Razor Mouth. Lol. Whoops. The Venus seems unnecessary. Not gonna lie. But I don't know that it matters. Like, look, this is an entire army taking on a dazed and confused Rambolina and a thoroughly lost Blondie. Somebody check the programming on that robot, because that thing has no idea where it is. I can't believe how much this Blondie has spent. Why did this happen? I have no idea why this just happened. I guess that prevents the Blondie from coming in that way, but like... Okay. Admittedly, a bunch of heart damage went down, but like... You know what, Blondie? I appreciate the dedication, the loyalty. Blondie took a vow to chase down this droney, and Blondie is keeping that vow. And you know what, Blondie? You can connect with that droney. Blondie, you can connect with that droney. That is your reward. I can't believe this game goes on 5 more turns. Chat, there are 4 dial activations in this game. 4 dial activations in this game. Bonkers. Bonkers. I don't even know that I have anything to add to this one. The ghost hand, 0 damage, lol. Blondie does get... Never mind, Blondie doesn't get a takedown because, oh yeah, it only has 1 action. Just because you can. Boop. How about that? Got him. Rosaldo. GG. That was a weird one, chat. That was, in fact, a weird one. You know, I'm glad that chat brought up Cupcake, because I almost forgot about that phobie. That probably... I'm torn between leaving it as an allowed phobie versus banning it. But I'm curious. Part of me says, with boss banned, do we leave Cupcake? Because there's just way less monster AoE phobies available. Like, yeah, you could do it on a Hevo, but that's 11 keys. And you have to invade. And it's only one use. Like, Gonzo's gone. I don't know. I'm tempted to just leave it. I think I'm going to leave it for the first week. I don't know. I got to sleep on it and think about it. Boop. We got our own games to worry about. That one's pretty much over anyway. But yeah, the rules for Monster of the Week are up in Discord. Feel free to comment. Feel free to comment about them. I'm open to feedback. I need to confirm, and I'm going to try and do it tomorrow with the devs that we can kick it off on Friday, and we'll see how it goes. One of the games I used for it was actually good, well, with Jammy Fish, because I see you were talking about that quest. Was it good for the ability, or was it good for, is this? Yes. All right, Kuro. Bring in the noise, bring in the funk. Bit of a slow start and some positioning errors on Mount Blight, a very popular map in Fright Night this time around. I think Mount Blight is actually a pretty good map. What do you think, chat? It definitely scared a lot of people because of the quantity of panic points initially. I used the ability the way I think you should. It was as Phasmo, or it was on Phasmo as player 1. Okay. How do you think it should be used? Or are you keeping that one, playing that close to the chest? So we're actually getting a creep opener here instead of a cassowary. I'll be honest, I just don't think creep is as good as cassowary. The immediate damage of cassowary is almost always better than the delayed damage in poison. Yeah, there's some edge cases, which, again, this is fine. If cassowary is your main 2-cost phobie, or main 2-cost undead phobie, or whatever, that's fine. And then creep is there for the edge cases where, no, you know what? I'd rather have creep. Although, notably, Kuro also popped out creep. But we are seeing the quadrupods. Repeller and Innocuous. Fairly common on this map. I think this is the go-to plan. It's very open, very 3-ranger friendly. And I'm forced to wonder, is this a map where, like, this is why Akira exists? To try and break the stalemates that would happen with both players staring at each other due to inoculi. Or oopsie baby, I guess. Another thing that I actually kind of like on this map. I don't get to use it a lot. Jesus, what is happening right now? Are you me? Are you me right now? Like, they're literally doing the same thing. For the most part. Actually, they're doing... Yeah, they're almost literally doing the same thing. Now, Kuro was able to get a little bit of extra bank. 8 to 11. We'll see what happens here. Also, the Oopsie Baby avatar is way creepier than the in-game Oopsie Baby. I find it way more unsettling. Ooh, the power down on the repeller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there just probably isn't enough damage here to hurt this Oopsie Baby. I think the point is to push bigger phobies in position faster while maintaining some flexible defense, basically to outpace your opponent in pressure/tempo. I would agree. And I think player 1 is on Phasmophobia, where you already have a tempo advantage, is further exacerbated by the potential from Jammy-Fish. Of course, you are investing, 3 keys in it, so, you know, it's not without cost. Similarly, this play may cost Kuro their Oopsie Baby. Jar. Unnecessary. Boop. The 0 damage boop. It's always funny. I do appreciate that they changed it so it doesn't have, like, the drum effect, we'll call it. Like, the noise, the sound effect when you hit. You know, like the screen rattles and stuff, but there's no sound when you just... and just push like that, because there's no damage. So I presume that was the positional error that Kuro was referring to. Losing the Oopsie Baby like that, less than desirable. Do get the takedown here on the Repeller, though. And this is actually a cute play. This turns off multiple lava tiles and disables a panic point, so you're able to stem the bleeding a little bit. I like this from Kuro. This is a good play. But yeah, to DT's point, I do like the sound of that for Jammy Fish, and I agree that is, like, keys now are better than keys later. I'd be very curious to see that game, or any games featuring Jammy Fish like that. That was one of them. Makes sense, Kuro. Boss, the counter boss. Been seeing a few of those lately. The tricky part is balancing key and action costs using the Jammy at all. Yeah. I mean, Jammy is another phobie like Will, where it's an incredibly, on paper, an incredibly powerful ability. And the question is, can you feasibly take advantage of it? And, I mean, I guess we'll find out. Spider goes down. Big old you're fired. That's going to lead to a dead creep. 5 keys to 7. Both players very quickly churned through keys. Not really great you're fired targets. There is a Oopsie Baby power down. What is that even called? Crybaby. Maybe the thumbnail here. You got double boss. You got the Oopsie Baby with its head turned the wrong way. I might just use Dial as the thumbnail at some point, because then, like, Dial's a cool phobie that people don't see a lot. I mean, Boss could be up there, too. The counter Honeyberry. Okay, chat. People are now submitting games with Boss. Like I said before, I just don't, like, we don't get a lot of submitted games with Boss. I don't see Boss in a lot of games. We don't observe a lot of Boss games, even when we actively go looking for games at higher levels. So naturally, with less Boss, I see less Honey Bears to counter Boss, because not everybody's even doing that. But it seems as though the Honey Bear tactic has spread rapidly. Or if not rapidly, it was out there to begin with. I don't know why, but the panic point in the middle of the puke looks really funny to me. Has Bad Guy used Crybaby at all? Double Honey Bear counter, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Although Kuro here is much more aggressive about the Honey Bear pukes, trying to stave off the damage here. Not really necessary. I mean, they are down by 2 panic points. But I don't know that it's necessary to do this. The body block from Oopsie Baby means that you're not going to get the disease on Boss. You're going to go for the disease on Ray. It's a bold move there, Cotton. I don't hate it, because odds are they're not killing this foul, right? 2,500 health. Actually, this could be dead if they want it. This is dead if they want it. I miscalculated here and lost foul. Yeah, I think we were just thinking the same thing, where I thought foul was going to live, but 5 attacks here is enough to take this down. In this sample, 2 out of 2 Boss players think Honey Bear is a good play against it. Yeah. 2 out of 2 players agree that Honey Bear is a great answer to Boss. Kuro just going for it. The big you're fired, no fire to speak of, except on the Ray. Womp wah. Can't puke on the obstacles. Down goes Ray. 3-2, or 4-3 rather. Phobie advantage. Kuro. Plus, this is pretty beat up. Do get a big you're fired here. But it's not enough to kill them right now. Or is it? Actually, that might be enough to kill the Stabby. Ooh, that kills the Stabby. I thought Stabby was going to live. Oopsie Baby goes down. Bro, how do you win this? Do they just man-fight you while standing on lava? I guess they can't really walk away. Oh, yeah, they can. Well, maybe not. They don't have a ton of hard health. Like, Mount Blight is weird because you can immediately, like... Maybe not immediately, but you could very quickly find yourself in a bad spot, hard health-wise. I didn't want to go to Honey Bear, but it made sense at the time, and it was going to use it against his boss. Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about this all weekend, that Honey Bear is seemingly a pretty decent answer to boss. So that's why it's interesting that we saw it happen for both people here. Just like that, there was one. The Jin Sting stands alone. Yeah, naturally, got to take down boss. But funny story about Honey Bear. Doesn't do that much damage. It doesn't do that much damage, and honestly, even if you couldn't man-fight the Honey Bear, there's a world in which you just literally run away and heal. And there was nothing they could do. Well played. That was tight all the way to the end. But as I was saying, the Honey Bear maybe is the appropriate answer to boss. To boss Gonzo, that's another story. It's a different discussion altogether. But it might be reasonable to try and answer boss with Honey Bear. On this map, it has extra utility because you can turn off multiple panic points. You can turn off lava tiles. There's a few different other ways to leverage it. But it definitely seemed to make sense here. I agree about the positional errors. Mistakes happen. Well played. GG. I think we have exactly 10 unique people to do game breakdowns for tonight, chat. Because there are a bunch of repeats in here. dontinklsnif. Let's get it. I don't know why I decided to do a really deep voice for that, but I did. So how about them apples, chap? Why does Barzilla remind me of that one Ryan Gosling meme of him just staring up looking sad? I don't know why I thought of that. Here's my favorite phobie against my favorite phobie. I have a confession to make, chat. I don't have any idea who Ryan Gosling is. I forgot I was in a match when my opponent left. Yes! What the hell is happening? Bank to 8. Like, one key pass on Biff's room. Weren't we talking about some weird scenario like this earlier tonight? Oh yeah, it was in the context of, like, trying to get an early Leela or something. But in all seriousness, chat, like, I know the name Ryan Gosling. I've definitely heard it before. I, honest to God, have no idea who it is. No clue. So, rip me, I guess. I don't know. Barzilla. Bad guy banking to 9. Oh, that feels nice. That's nice. Fire damage to eliminate the dimensional. Feels good, man. Contortio putting in work, though. I mean, okay. I thought it was going to be like dontinklsnif's favorite phobie versus their number 2 favorite phobie or something. Not literally the Barzilla mirror. Panic point advantage hero, though. So bad guys got to put in some work to get over the hump, steal back that tempo. Barf and fire everywhere. Banking to 7 because, yeah, why not? You know what we need, chat? We need a King Kong phobie. That way we could have Godzilla versus Kong. Is sheep really the answer? like, bank into sheep. Why is bad guy doing this? I thought I pushed the pop filter in. I don't understand why bad guy's doing this. There's already a healer on the board. Admittedly, that healer did just heal recently, so, like, it's on cool. Oh, no, it's not on cool. What? Why? Why? I don't get it. Oh, a bad guy just refuses to have more than 2 phobies out at once. Yeah, I have so many questions. I have so many questions about this line of play. Like, did bad guy lose a bet? Or is this like a personal achievement they're trying to get? Are there hidden achievements in Phobies chat? Is there a hidden achievement for winning the game with only ever putting 2 phobies out? Oh, no, they broke it. It's 3 phobies. Chat, they ruined it. It's ruined, chat. Ruined forever. I like the particle effect on sheep and gas. Has anybody seen bad sheep in a game? Bad sheep. Like, does it do the same? Like, does it have all the same animations? This is just disheartening. Microscopic. No world in which bad guy thought that was popping out of the vault. Got him. Get bopped. Bowmangle's sacrificing his body for the team. Pour one out for Bo. Chat, when does the Killer Clowns from Outer Space video game release? I mean, Phobies is kind of Halloween themed inherently, but I didn't put a lot of effort into streaming Halloween games. We might have to do, like, Halloween in January or something, and I'll play a bunch of horror games. I did play Slay the Princess offline, which, as I mentioned in Discord, felt very much like Philosophy Class 101. I didn't unlock all the endings. I don't think I'm ever going to. We've had a lot of heals in this game. But our hero is at a significant advantage given the damage potential here. I think this Barzilla's just dead. And once Barzilla goes, so does bad guy. Barzilla getting cooked. This is the 3rd Clinico heal. It's a bad day. It's a bad day to be bad guy. Triple panic point advantage for him, though. It's the small silver linings. Clinico slap into Innocuous hit. Dead Ray. And then, of course, the irony of Clinico dying to microscopic. Just got bodied. GG. Dontinklsnif, everyone. That was a weird one. That was... That's probably the weirdest game we had tonight, followed by the Dial game, because Blondie was just like, I don't even know. I don't know. All right, chat. Last game of the night. Master Dark. Got bronied hard. It changed totally who was losing. All right, let's see. Let us see. The good old sock ass and pass. I don't know about that one, Chief. How long ago was that? When was Opticon even in the rotation? This had to. I didn't see it when we zoned in, but this had to be an acing. What? Dozer turn 2 on Opticon. Was it last rotation? It feels like it was... I don't know. I've said it before. I didn't get to play a lot of Phobies in, like, the last month or two. Which is unfortunate. Ice Cream, because Master Dark loves that ice cream. Glob, huh? Sure. I guess. Because why not? And then there was Daisy. We've been seeing a lot more Daisy lately. I mean, presumably it's part of the event. And as a result of the event, I think people are rediscovering Daisy. I think you'll understand the gameplay after. I mean, Ice Cream into Dozer isn't terrible. Like, it is not unlikely that you can run down the Dozer with the Ice Cream. Like, that's not insane. I'm a little surprised that Bad Guy didn't send the Sock Acid in to flip this point. Like, I'm not sure what they're holding the Sock Acid for at this stage. To hit Cassowary? Like, I don't know. Paddles, huh? Get a little walk the glob going on? I mean, I do love me some Walk the Glob, but I don't know that it's really going to work. This reeks of Bad Guy going like, I got these new Phobies, I'm using them. Repeller getting added to the team. A little push-pull action. Akira, huh? Alright, so here's the question, chat. Does Ice Cream only have monocular vision? As in, it can only see out of this eye? Or is that, like... It's just, like, enhanced vision on that eye? You know what I mean? I think it's supposed to be, like, this other one got knocked off or froze off or whatever. This is also a very interesting potential thumbnail. It's just like, what the hell is happening on this board state? What level is Dozer? That's a level 17 Dozer. That's a big boy. That's a big boy. Significantly lower levels on our hero side of the board. Raucous. So the Raucous works out here, at least here, as an anti-Akira because of the choke point. We were talking about it earlier that I forget who it was earlier today, had tried to use Raucous and Boomer on Mount Blight as an anti-Akira. But the problem is that Akira can just position in a different way and pull everything to the other side or around Sedimentary and Stasis. Here, it's going to get funneled in through these chokes because of the way Opticon is structured, so it's much easier to lock things out. By the way, this entire time, Panic Point Advantage Hero, and Bad Guy seems to have no interest in changing that. Until now. Naturally. As soon as I say it, chat. Oh. As soon as I say it. The Noxious seems a little weird. There's just a lot of mechs and a resurrecting undead who's not going to care. We're clearly getting the setup to try and prevent the Akira pull. Sure. Down goes Spidey. Jonah Jameson would be proud. Keep forgetting I'm in games while watching the stream and almost gave up 2 turns. Oh no. Kuro, the ladder hero, donating points to everyone. We do, in fact, get the Akira pull. This is not a dead... Okay. See, the problem with this play... Never mind, the droney can reach. The droney gets the kill here. You're going to take down the Innoculus. 12 keys available, though, for Master Dark. This was a pretty solid play from Bad Guy. Assuming that the glob lives, which it's not going to. It just got frozen. It's never going to make it out alive. Raucus can't one-shot the droney. And then there was Brony. The way the notes were described, it sounded like Master Dark got bronied. And as a result, like, Bad Guy did a bad Brony and then gave up their advantage. But right now, Bad Guy just doesn't have that many Phobies that can actually fight when you think about it. Like, Paddles can't. Obviously, the Glob is frozen. They now have Clinico. Dozer's very slow. Jar is obviously good, but has a very low damage cap. So it's kind of like Noxious and Akira? Not representing an enormous amount of damage here. Turning off half the offense, maybe more. And all of a sudden, Bad Guy's on the ropes here. Do get a juiced up Akira splash hit here, which is pretty nice. Takedown on the Raucus. Puke onto the spider, okay. How long until another freeze? Still got 2 turns on the freeze. Glob is pretty much out of the game. It's also poisoned, so it's going to die anyway. It's going to die anyway. But yeah, this Brony definitely changed the face of this game. Get the yoink play. I'm a little surprised by the aggressive positioning for the repeller as opposed to putting it here, because it could still have clipped everything. Here it is a threat to the Akira, and the Akira is low enough health, so I guess it doesn't matter. It's just kind of irrelevant, but at this point, so is the rest of Bad Guy's team. Irrelevant is the word. Brony, everyone. Just wrecking nerds since 2022. Pour one out for Alien Engineer. The original Brony expert. Do get a cute Dozer set up here with Akira. Hilariously enough, Dozer can't solo the spider. These can't kill Akira, but that boop can. The boop, in fact, can. This is well played, Master Dark. We do need to see Brony more often. We do need to see Brony more often. I feel like it absolutely can cripple so many players because they just don't respect it. They also haven't played with or against it enough to really understand how it functions or doesn't. Notably, this no rush on the Jin Sting causes awkward problems for this Ice Scream. It kind of locks it out a little bit. Brony's live and so's the freeze. Not like it particularly matters, I mean. Oh no. 9 health. Honestly, if that repeller goes down, does Master Dark lose? You can freeze one, which would have to be Dozer. What? This should be the thumbnail. Like, what is happening right now? Hold on. This should be the thumbnail, chat. Like, what is happening? Or I should do the, do the YouTube thumbnail thing. Like what is happening? Like, do that. Freeze Dozer and win by the heart dying. It already looks like one. GG. Got him. Even if Repeller dies, you win? Yeah. Well, if you freeze the Dozer, yeah, there wouldn't be enough damage to kill everything quickly enough. Well played. Well played. Oh, chat, we had some funny games tonight. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, so we're going to close up shop early. I'm very tired. Definitely some very fun viewer game reviews. We'll, of course, be back tomorrow for variety. We did have, of course, top 8 for Fright Night number 10. I am going to be reaching out to the devs hopefully tomorrow about Fright Night number 11. And I'm also going to be reaching out to them about Monster of the Week. See if we can get those weeklies rolling and see what we can do from here. I'm excited about the future of Phobies, chat. I hope everyone else is as well. I'm very much looking forward to observing these games, to playing more games, and hanging out in the world of Phobies. But for tonight, that's going to do it. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for more Random's Thoughts.